Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Brownsville Matters. I'm your host, Dr. W.F. Strong, and we have with us today local musician Ileana Blanco, who goes by the stage name of Theda Jane. Now, Theda, I wanted to ask you about, as you are a bright young woman and you're doing incredible things, launching your young career as an artist, and it occurred to me the other day that there are these interesting grants that called the MacArthur grants. I think they are often referred to by the name of Genius Grants, and what they do is they find young people. They might be a scientist, might be a musician, might be a painter, a sculptor. It could be anybody who shows great promise in whatever their genius lies within, and they give them $500,000 and say, here, this will allow you to quit working and focus on your passions. So if you were to be given one of those grants, and by the way, you don't find them, they find you, they just identify you and they come in with a check and say, here you go. So if you were to get one of those sorts of grants, what would you do with it?
With $500,000, I would definitely go ahead and buy a recording studio. That's my dream, to have my own recording studio, just so that I can record demos and stuff like that. I'm not a professional mixing engineer or anything like that.
With that idea, you would get a recording studio.
My own recording studio, so that I can record demos and stuff. I'm like I said, I'm not like a professional mixing engineer or anything like that. I would just want to just record what I have, and hopefully make something of it, and then have pay somebody professionally to mix and master it and engineer it.
But if you had your own recording studio, I imagine in time you would get pretty good at it yourself, because you would play. You would play with it yourself. In my experience, with people that I've known, it takes years for them to actually get it under their thumb. To be proficient at it, you gotta have years of experience. That's what I've experienced with people that I know that have their own recording studios, or that they're engineers. Or I guess really the Beatles were the first to have their own recording studio, where they could just go in there anytime and play. And I don't mean play in the sense of, I mean play around with any ideas that they had and be foolish and silly. And some of their, great music came out of those sessions of just playing around. But, you often don't have that luxury if you don't have big money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's a little easier today because we have technology in the miniature that provides opportunity for recording and things, where you don't need, the massive studio to be able to record fairly decent digital tracks. So do you do that?
Yes, I used to own, I had to sell it because of the starving artist thing. I used to have a PreSonus little audio box, and I used to just connect it to a laptop, and I used to just sing or play my instrument or anything like that, and it was really neat, and it was good for demos. Obviously, it wasn't good for full on albums and stuff, but it was good for demos, and it was really fun to just do things just by myself.
So you could perfect your own style by recording, listening, right?
Right, yeah.
What do you like to do musically? What is your favorite thing to play before an audience, or do you prefer the quiet solitude of writing lyrics, actually writing a song? Where do you find your greatest joy?
Well, both, but more I think is sitting down and writing the music, like whether it's the lyrics or whether it's just sitting down at the piano and just like discovering new things to like incorporate in my songs and stuff like that. That I think that's like the most fun part for me, because performances are fun for me. They're great, but I'm really shy. I'm a really shy person. So it's kind of like a mind game with myself when I'm on stage. So I have to tell myself, okay, like you're here to put on a show for people, not to be nervous in front of people. So that part is always like kind of, it's not the most fun part, but when I'm like not backstage, but like when I'm like in my house and behind the scenes, there you go, writing the songs, I think that's like the best part, because I like to create and I like to be creative, and it's like painting a picture kind of.
Yes.
Like it's like when I'm composing, I can use like different colors and different like words, like to with the lyrics and stuff like that. So like I just see it like as like painting like a picture, and it takes like a while for it to be done, but when it's done, it's great.
What is your creative process? Do you wait for inspiration, or do you sit down and kind of go through a meditative process where you say, okay, I'm going to write now? I'm going to write, or do you do this daily? What is your creative process?
Well, I don't write music daily. That's for sure. I would say that like 90% of the time I wait for inspiration, which is something I was taught not to do, especially when I was in composition class up in University of North Texas. They said like you have to like practice writing every day, but that's not something I do. I kind of like wait for inspiration or wait for something to happen and for it to like influence me. And there's like 10% of the time where like I force myself to write, or I sit down and I try to think of something, but most of the time it's like, oh, I thought of something and then I gotta write it down, kind of deal like that.
You must have loved going to North Texas, being around hundreds of great musicians. Yeah,
I shouldn't have left, but I did.
That area right north of the campus, I forget what they called that, Hickory Street. They used to refer to it as Little Austin because it had a great music scene, at least through the 90s and early 2000s. I don't know if it still does, but it used to, and you could hear great jazz. Many of the students who were in classes were over there playing. Did you play there? Did you ever play in those in that area?
No, I wasn't in the jazz program. I was in the music ed program with like instrumentalists.
Well, I knew you weren't playing jazz, but I just meant, did you ever play in the live scene around there when you were in school?
I was only there for a semester.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so why did you leave?
I left because, I left for a bunch of different reasons, actually. Like some personal reasons, but like mainly because I just felt really bad putting my mom like through that financial burden.
I see. Yeah.
And
you're far from home.
Yeah, and she was paying for my dorm room.
That's expensive.
And my grandma had just passed too, so like they were busy paying for her funeral too, and then on top of that, paying for my tuition. And I had some loans, but like she had to pay mostly for like my dorm room and stuff like that. I was just like, you know what, my family kind of needs me right now. Yes. I should go back home.
Yeah, that's a very common story here, where people in the valley, where people just can't afford to be elsewhere given family needs and all that. That's why it's so good, I think, that 30 years ago people started putting pressure on Austin to say, you need to invest in the valley. You can't put all the higher education funds into North Texas and East Texas. We pay taxes too, and we deserve educational opportunities just as people in any other part of the state do. And so that's how we got, UTRGV as we see it today with the medical school, because of that pressure put on politicians 30 years ago by visionary folks with the stroke to be able to pull it off. So then you came back here, and did you go to school here?
Yes, I continued my education at the time it was UTB, so it was a long time ago.
Yeah, but always a great music school here, from way back.
Yeah, I really actually enjoyed it there, a little bit more when it comes to the fact that I could go home and then go to class.
Of course, yes.
But I think I did learn a lot there, even though I studied mostly the flute, but I also studied some piano, and I didn't study bass guitar, but I was playing bass guitar at the time, and it was a different experience. I liked it because at UNT you had to be in marching band. I didn't like marching band, so that was another reason why I came back down here, is because I didn't want to do marching band whatsoever. So I was okay, well, UTB doesn't have a marching band.
So in UNT, they made everybody who was a music major be in marching band, or just in one area of the curriculum?
Not the jazz players. I think it was music ed majors, instrumentalists that were in band, if you were a woodwind player or a brass player or something, you were required to be in marching band up there.
Well, so you've had your own band here in. You graduated what year from? Oh,
I never graduated from college. Okay. I was a year shy of graduating.
So you did. So you took music classes here and learned a great deal about spreading your wings in various musical forms, etc. And then eventually you got your own band, right? So where did you play, in what venues around here, or was it here?
Oh, yes. I actually had a lot of different bands. I joined my first band when I was 19, but I formed my own band. I was 20 or 21-ish. We started playing here in Brownsville, at the Kraken. We played a lot at El Hueso. We had a lot of acoustic sets, and we played in McAllen too, at the Flying Walrus and Simon Says, and
such interesting names for clubs.
And the Hop Shop in Harlingen, the Spot in Harlingen. There's just.
So what's the demographic for those places? I mean, is this all under 30, or do you have a wide range of ages there? How would you describe the audience that comes to hear you?
Well, there are some places, there was this place called Yerberia Cultura. That place, we used to play there a lot, and they used to be maybe late teens, early 20s kind of, so it was different. Whereas places like the Hop Shop and the Spot, they're older people. They're maybe they're in their 30s or 40s, maybe even 50s. They just come and come to have a beer. Whereas at Yerberia Cultura, most of them they have a bar there, but most of them just come just to get away from their parents or something like that.
Just to get away from that.
Yeah.
What makes for in your experience, what makes for a great live performance? What are the important dimensions of performing live that's going to keep the audience riveted?
I think, in my experience, I think that always engaging with your audience, talking to them, like a conversation, I think. it really helps a lot. Whereas like if you go up stage and go like, okay, this next song is blah blah, okay, play the song, and then okay, this next song is called this and that. It's kind of a little bit it's not really engaging, and I think when you involve the audience in the show, I think that's when like it's just more fun, I think.
Well, can you give me an example of I agree with you, certainly, if all you do is say, and this next song is this, that's going to get pretty dull quickly. But do you provide a story of how the song came to be, or what do you typically do to make it more interesting, you think?
Well, usually when I talk to the audience, first of all, like I try to be relaxed, because like I don't want them to say, oh, she's nervous or anything like that. Like I've practiced on being relaxed, and I explain, okay, this next song, I wrote it when I was a teenager, or like, and I give a little background story sometimes. Other times. So
give me an example of an intro that you would do like that I'm sure you've done it many, many times. So can you tell me how you would introduce one of your songs with that sort of biographical background?
For example, like a song that I wrote called Elephant, the background story for that, I say, well, it was about my grandmother, and I tell them a little bit like about my grandmother, and like what an important person she was to me, and what the song means to me. And usually I'll say something like, this song is it's about my grandmother. You know, she passed away like well, now today it was like 10 years ago. And I just basically just try to like get them to relate to it, I guess. So I'll be like, so if anybody has had a loved one that's passed, you know, this song, I hope this song touches you, and this song is for you, you know? So that's how I like kind of like try to get the audience like involved.
To connect to your music. And so you wrote a lovely tribute song for your grandmother. And why was she so influential for you? I mean, many people's grandmothers are, but you say, the way you say it makes me think she was particularly influential to you. How was that so?
My grandma, well, she was like the closest grandparent to me. She would take care of me like as a kid. Like when my mom would go to work, she would like take care of me and stuff like that. She was I just saw her more often than my other grandparents, and like I just got to know her more than my other grandparents, because either they died or because well, my grandpa was in jail. So like I didn't really get to like I didn't really get to like
to know them,
you know, as much.
I had that same experience actually with my grandmother. My mother worked, and so when I was real little, I was with her all the time, and I remember those beautiful memories of her taking me, walking me to the park. It was about 3 blocks away. I was 4 or 5 years old before school started for me, and so she was teaching me about butterflies, and we'd go for walks in the backyard, just learning about the little creatures in the backyard. But I still have extraordinarily vivid memories of her Socratic lectures. You know, she was wonderful, and so I imagine you had something similar. That's why it's so powerful for you.
For sure, she would like walk me. She would walk me to like get to like pan, like dulce, and like, she would like let me pick out the different breads. She would take me to the tortilla to get tortillas, and so it was a similar experience to yours.
Was she musical?
No, but her 2 sons played guitar. Yeah, and well, her husband, I think he played guitar too. I'm not sure, but she was not a musician.
But did you hear them playing guitars when you were little?
One of my uncles, yes, because unfortunately my other uncle passed away when I was like maybe 4 years old. And but my other uncle, I heard him play the guitar all the time, you know.
But you like playing the bass.
I am a bass player. Yeah.
That's unusual.
Yeah.
How did you get there?
Well, it's kind of like a funny story because me and my sister growing up, we didn't like to share. We didn't like to copycat, I guess, each other. So once my sister got this toy, I wasn't allowed to have that toy. Or once I got another toy, like she wasn't allowed to have that toy. Whoever got it first, I guess.
But you weren't twins.
No,
okay.
we're 2 years apart.
Okay.
So my sister said she wanted a guitar to my parents, like for Christmas, and I was like, wait a minute, I want a guitar too. And my parents knew the deal between me and my sister, so since my sister asked first, she got the guitar, and then my parents got me a bass guitar for Christmas. And I was just like, at first I was like, I don't know. But then I started listening to like different bass players, and they started to influence me, and then I was just like, hey, wait a minute, like this is actually pretty cool. And I actually stuck with just playing bass. I tried to learn guitar too, but I kind of got a little bored. I just stuck to bass more, and
Well, it is fascinating, you know, that the bass is the backbone of many great songs, you know, like Seven Nation Army. What are some of your ideas or your perspectives on the bass that fit what I just said? You know, that this song wouldn't be what it is if it weren't for the bass.
I would say Queen, Another One Bites the Dust.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a good example. And so I think that Gabriel can play that in the background when you do the editing here. What do you like to play when you're do you select songs, like if you're in a band, do you select songs that allow you to play the bass and stand out for that particular song because you like it?
Well, most of the time I'm playing my originals, but in the past bands that I've been in, when we've done covers, I've always liked to choose the songs where the bass is like prominent, or like you can hear the bass.
It stands out.
Yeah, it stands out. Yeah, those are always the ones that I picked for.
Well, who are the bass players you love?
I have a lot of bass players that I love. My favorite bass player of all time is Les Claypool from the band Primus. I also like Justin Chancellor from Tool, and I like Jaco Pastorius, and I like Victor Wooten. I could go on and on.
Yes. Well, why do you like them? What makes them particularly great artists in your mind?
Well, the reason I like Les Claypool is because I don't think there's anybody that sounds like him today. That, like, when you hear his songs on like Spotify or the radio or whatever, you know, okay, that's Les Claypool, you know, and so he's my favorite because for a lot of different reasons, but mainly I really like his slap technique. He does it like so effortlessly. I bet you he can do it in his sleep. Like he's like, it's just second nature to him. And the other ones I like mostly because of they're just a couple of them are virtuosos, and I just admire the technique, and like I guess they're for different reasons.
Sure.
Like Jaco, I like his musicality. Like I like the way he grooves, and then Victor Wooten, I admired his technique and his knowledge of music theory. So,
do you play every day? Just for you? As practice?
Play almost every day. I don't play every day because work is very exhausting.
Yeah, sure.
So like sometimes like I will come home from work and I'll just sleep, and then and then I wake up, and then I eat, and then it's time for bed already, and like I can't. I either play for it like maybe like 15 minutes and then go to bed, or like I don't play at all, and it kind of sucks because I like to play every day. Yeah.
Are you currently playing live somewhere? Do you have any type of regular stage performance?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm playing. My next show is December 23rd at the Hop Shop in Harlingen. It's a barbecue fundraiser for me. My friend Martin, he makes barbecue, and he's gonna make plates, and we're gonna sell them so that I can pay for my mixing and mastering, because I still haven't finished paying for that for my album. So that's my next show. So I'm gonna play, and I've invited some of my friends to play too, and other bands. And it's gonna be at the Hop Shop, December 23rd. The show starts at 8. Music starts at 8, but the barbecue starts at 6. Yeah.
So how much do you need to pay for your mixing?
How much more?
Yeah, how much more?
I need like maybe $600.
Oh, well, that's not a lot.
For me,
I mean, it's a lot if you don't. It's a lot if you don't have it. But I mean, I was expecting you to say like 6,000 or something. So,
no.
So that's well, you should just do a GoFundMe. You know, that way you. I mean, in addition to this, you do a GoFundMe, and you touch a lot of people in unexpected places, you might say. I've done several GoFundMes for nonprofits, and I've been shocked at the amount of money that rolled in. I'll just give you an example that I was working with a little museum that needed money to digitize their photographs. They had a lot of old historical photographs, and so we just made a GoFundMe page for that, and we raised $10,000 in a month. Because we were surprised. People sent $1,000 checks and stuff just because they thought it was an important thing to preserve those pictures. So very, very cool. And that I expected we'd raise maybe a couple of thousand, but I didn't expect 10. It was awesome.
Wow.
And so, and then for something like this, you have I think in combination with your raising money via the barbecue, it shows that you have personal initiative and a work ethic to be able to raise the money yourself, do something to earn it, so to speak. But then you've got the emotional appeal. Someone just wants to help a starving artist, to have to get her music out there and find her name in lights one day. With your particular approach to music, I mean, I'm used to seeing solo guitarists and things are singing, but you do it with a bass, and that's unusual. At least I think it's unusual. Is it?
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people think it's unusual. Yeah.
But it works. I mean, obviously it works. People come to hear you and they enjoy it. And I listened to the song. What was the name of the song that you sent in? That you sent in, and it was there as an attachment.
Red Little Boy.
Oh yes. I like that. It's a beautiful song, and I wasn't really paying attention to the back. I was paying attention to the lyrics, not the instrumentation behind it. And was that a bass? Were you playing a bass there? Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. But anyway, I did enjoy the piece, but I was focused on the lyrics, which I particularly enjoyed. They're beautiful.
Thank you.
And so, what's the backstory for that song?
The backstory for that song is I started going out with this guy, and he decided that he liked another girl more than me, so he left me for her. And I kind of went like a little crazy. So I wrote that song, and like that was the only way that I knew to like cope with it, kind of.
So it was cathartic for you, and you
yeah, kind of, yeah. And
it was therapeutic.
Yeah, and now I'm so glad that I wrote that song, because there's people who have told me that they relate to the song, and it makes me happy, because like that's why I share my music, so it can help like other people too, you know.
I once thought some years ago that'd be kind of cool if there were a collection, and it probably does exist, called, that you might call music therapy, where it would be, songs for the broken heart, songs to help people get past these tough moments in life, to a rejuvenation through music. And I mean, it's all there, all those songs are there, but I always thought it'd be nice to get a compilation of, Jagged Little Pill and other songs. Do you like Alanis Morissette? Is that how do you say it?
Alanis Morissette.
Alanis Morissette.
Yeah, I like her. Yeah. I don't really listen to her often, but I like her. Yeah.
But she's a wonderful lyricist, I think. But who do you like? You told me who you like as a musician, as a bass player, but as a lyricist, who do you like?
Fiona Apple.
Okay. A
lot. Yeah. I think she's maybe my favorite lyricist. And her first album is my favorite out of like all of her lyrics. I think that's probably like her best album, like lyric wise.
Like what song?
I think the song "Sullen Girl" by Fiona Apple. It's the second track in her first album. I think that's a really powerful song, and it's a very sad song, but like it's really like powerful, and you can like hear her pain like through the lyrics.
They say that the bass players get the chicks, the males, and does it work for women too? Do you get the guys?
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that like the bass player chicks. Yeah.
And what is the reputation of the guy bass players is that they're party animals, what's the reputation for the women who are bass players?
They're usually like, if you go on Instagram and stuff, I notice that women bass players are usually very pretty. Yeah. That's my opinion.
Do you have a costume? Is this an important dimension? Because I think of bass players and the bands just come to my mind, and they often are in black leather, and they've got a costuming. And do you have a certain look that you go for? Are you gothic, or is there anything like that appeals to you?
No, I dress however I want to dress, like whatever's comfortable. I don't focus on like a theme or like a costume or anything like that, because I guess like I want people to like just see a regular person making music.
Okay. I like that. So you just want to be authentic. So you are who you are. Well, there's no facade.
Yeah.
That's good. Let's see, what else was I wanting to ask you about? So you've played downtown Brownsville a lot, and one of the concerns for many artists in Brownsville of all types, really, music and painters, etc., and sculptors, I don't know, is the rejuvenation of downtown and the vibrancy of that scene, you might say. So are you happy with what's going on downtown? Do you see a kind of renaissance of sorts happening?
I'm happy to see that they're having like a First Friday or something like that. I think like First Friday of like every month, or I could be totally wrong, but I think that's a good first start, because it's inviting people to come and experience downtown, and it's also giving business to the music venues there, which I think they need.
Well, I haven't heard about that. As you understand it, what is it? Do they offer discounts? What is First Friday about?
Yeah. So it's, I don't know if they still do it. They might have like, I haven't heard about it in a while, but
Okay, just hang on a second. Do they still do that? Do you know? Okay.
Yes, it's to promote the nightlife in the downtown area, and it provides a venue for artists, not only visual performing artists, musicians like yourself, to come in and perform. They actually get paid. Everybody performing during the first Friday in the market square are getting paid, and there's a little bit of funds that is I think input by the city to help revitalize the downtown. It helps pay the artists, and as well it promotes the businesses within.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and I just want to make sure that we're right before you explained it, and then you said, "Oh no, it doesn't exist anymore." So go ahead with your idea that what's First Friday about?
I think it's about like exposing what Brownsville has to offer.
Okay.
I think people like kind of forget about downtown when it comes to Brownsville, and people like should know that it's got like a lot to offer, and there's music venues that are there that people should be going to, because most of them are small business, and I personally like it in downtown. I know people kind of think maybe it's a little shady, but I like it because it's like old fashioned, and like reminds me of like the old times and stuff, and it's actually really pretty. Like I think it is, and I think the First Friday thing is good.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
I think it's a wonderful way to support the local artists and to lift them up. Very good. What other venues are, particularly you mentioned Harlan, you mentioned McAllen. Have you any venues at the Island that are interesting to you, or is that a different world?
I honestly don't play at the Island as much, because at the Island, when I've played there, they kind of want covers, and I'm not a cover artist. So I mean, I've played covers before, obviously, but like they want like 3 or 4 hours of just like covers, and I don't have that repertoire. I just have like an hour or an hour and a half of originals,
Well, just do that same hour and a half over and over.
Yeah.
So, well, anyway, I wanted to wish you good luck with getting your album produced, getting the final polish,
Thank you.
and to get it out there, and maybe you can get the kind of support you need so that you can focus on music more. That would be great.
Yeah, I would hope so, yeah.
So I appreciate your coming in and talking to us today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Why'd you gotta leave me on the floor? tomorrow without you.
Thanks for watching this BSPA video. Go ahead and hit like and subscribe if you like what you see. And if you really like what you see, go ahead and go to our website, brosoperformingarts.org, and smash the donate button. And then we'll really like you too.